I'm praying amiss. I'm not using the right words. I'm not using the right scriptures. Maybe I'm not declaring what I should be declaring. Maybe I'm not binding what. Listen, at this point in time, I'm lost for ideas. So guess what, God? I'm just going to shout, and you use your heavenly decoder to decode what I'm saying. No, you didn't hear what I just said. So when the children of Israel started to shout, God used his decoder and decoded what their need was. And he used the right need to solve the problem. So he sent his angels and they started kicking down the bricks on the wall that was standing between their promise and their possession. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Only a shout could have done that. Give you another example so you know that this is not a fluke. There were some guys also called the children of Israel. These guys had been in bondage 429 years. And they had done everything they could to get out of Egypt, and nothing was happening. What was holding them captive did not release them. It was a strong thing. I don't know whether it was the Pharaoh of masturbation. I don't know what that Pharaoh was called. It could have been the Pharaoh of a bad habit. But he was holding these guys and he wouldn't let them go. So guess what? They had prayed, but they still seem to have been dealing with the same thing that was holding them down. So one day, somebody said, enough is enough. Ah! And the other one picked up on that, and the third one picked up, and before we knew it, the whole of Israel started to cry out. And then God said to a man who was outside the city, I have heard the cry of the children of Israel, and now I have remembered my covenant to Abraham. It wasn't the prayers of the children of Israel, it was the cry. You see, when they cried, the decoder of heaven had to go and decode whatever it is, and something had to come out of that thing and say, hey, Baba, you remember 430 years ago, you made a promise to one guy. I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say. There was a guy whose name had become the deformity that he was carrying in his life. His name was Blind Bartimaeus. Why did everybody call him Blind Bartimaeus? Because he had been so blind from birth that became the only distinctive feature. If everybody wanted to call him, they didn't bother to call him anything. They said, listen, Bartimaeus, nobody will know who you're talking about. But once you say Blind Bartimaeus, oh, of course I know him. I don't know what it is that people have called you. Whether they called you Fat Susan, because you have always been big all your life. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Whether they called you Short Tune, because you have always been the one that was almost like your center of gravity was the highest in the class. I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say here. But cut the long story short, Blind Bartimaeus said, listen, I know I have some kind of background, but I refuse to allow my back to be kept on the ground because of my background. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. So Blind Bartimaeus said, listen, this matter that I'm dealing with, only God can solve it. I was born with it by my parents. If my parents could fix it, they would have fixed it by now. If my teenage years could have fixed it, they would have fixed it by now. If the doctors could have fixed it, they would have fixed it by now. But listen, this one, I know that there is nobody else apart from God that can sort this matter out. So Blind Bartimaeus prayed, but nothing happened. He fasted, but nothing happened. And one day he decided, listen, I've been hearing this guy Jesus pass by. Every time I would say, excuse me, Jesus, Father, Lord, Jesus. He said, but nothing happened. He said, listen, this matter is bigger than a posing matter for me. I cannot pose my way through. I don't know, listen, I'm not from here, I'm from Nigeria. I just came in a few days ago. I'm going back on Monday. And Dad just asked me to come here. In Nigeria, there's something called pose. Pose is when you're acting cool. And you're trying to get the job done, but you're trying to get it in a very nice, cool, stylish way. And you know how it is when you come to church, you just want to pose. So that nobody sees you and say, lift up holy hands. And you know what I'm talking about. They say, shout hallelujah. You say, hallelujah. You know what I mean? Tell somebody next to you, man, stop posing, my friend. Because the matter you are dealing with, you know how it makes you cry at night. So you go out and cry at night, and then you come to the place of healing, and then you tell God there is no problem. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Blind Bartimaeus had been posing for a long time. But that day he said, listen, enough is, I didn't hear you, is. Blind Bartimaeus decided that today I must catch this guy's attention. Well, how was he going to do it? So he decided to shout. When he started to shout, the first thing that happened was that the attention of human beings was what he caught. And they started to say to him, hush your mouth, keep quiet. Blind Bartimaeus said, listen, if my shout is attracting human beings, then I haven't really done a good job shouting. So the next thing he did was he stepped up and down. You know how you shift down? How many people drive a shift gear? You know when you downshift your car? So that next thing now you have much more power. He said, now Blind Bartimaeus shouted the more. And Jesus called unto him. He couldn't catch God's attention until he learned how to shout a kind of shout that man will not be able to hold him down. Now I need you to only identify only the people who have an issue that God alone can solve. Don't form an issue for yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't form something for yourself and say, God, I have an issue. If you know there's something your daddy can take care of, don't worry about that one. If you know it's something that your mommy can take care of, all you need to go really do is just cry before her, don't worry about it. You know, if you know it's something that you got friends that can take care of it, that's that one, leave that one. I'm talking about something that only God can sort. Is there anybody who has something that they need God to do for them? Just a few people. No, you don't have to. You see, don't worry now. Listen, you can pose your way through tonight again, if you like. I just want to see those hands up. Because for those of you whose hands are up, I'm going to give you, at the count of 3, the chance to release a shout that only God can interpret. With the intensity of your need, create that kind of intensity in your shout. Don't worry who's looking at you. Don't worry how long you have to shout. I just want you to, listen, I want you to remember what you are trying to deal with. I need you to try to remember what you're dealing with. And I want you to shout in a way that only God can hear you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Come on, let me hear you. Are you ready? Well, I heard that the theme of this conference was peculiar people, isn't it? I don't know if there's any peculiar person here, but you know